Tai Chi and Qigong. Tai Chi is a short term for Tai Chi Chuan, and that's important because Chuan means martial art. So Qigong is not a martial art. They're both wellness systems, but Qigong doesn't have functions as a martial art, except for some specialized Qigong. I'm going to go ahead and mute folks that are, okay. So Qi is what this system calls the vital energy of the body. The difference between, basically the difference between a corpse and somebody walking around. We would say Qi, the vital energy of the body. And Gong means a regular practice whose aim is to cultivate and store this vital energy. And Qigong usually also includes in that meaning a regular mindful practice to develop a particular skill. It's the same Qigong as in Kung Fu. So Qi, Qigong, a mindful regular practice to develop, store, cultivate Qi. Tai Chi Chuan, Tai Chi is a philosophical term, and Tai Chi is the mother of yin and yang. And so Tai Chi Chuan is a martial art that uses the changes between yin and yang for defensive purposes. So that's kind of broad definitions. So Tai Chi has uses as a Qigong practice, but Qigong does not have uses as a Tai Chi practice. So you could say Tai Chi has a foot in two different worlds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what they both share is their approach to gain the benefits. And the approach that we use is relaxation. So our method is relaxation to get at the benefits. And like we were talking a little bit earlier, where we have this, sometimes we're trying to remember something, and the harder we try to remember, the farther it gets from our brain, but then we relax, and like 5 minutes later, we're doing something entirely unrelated, and the answer comes up into our brain because we relaxed. So this is the same sort of process we're going to use to get at the benefits of Qigong practice and also Tai Chi practice. Great. So let's just start. We're going to start with some gentle movements. And again, the purpose of these practices is general health. So we are not training for a marathon, we're not training for martial art, we're not training for bigger muscles, we're just training for general overall health. And we call it playing Qigong, we also call it playing Tai Chi. So that helps us remember to be light and playful about the movements, rather than being like militant about them. So we're going to start with a movement called Lazy Man Takes Off His Coat. And this is picturing a very long coat that is almost to your ankles. And you're going to take it off similar to the way that somebody would take off a long gown. And that is reach down to the hem, crossing your arms, and then keeping the hands close to the body while you bring it up. So we're going to sit down a little bit and cross the arms. Coming up, leading, keeping the hands close to the body, leading with the elbows, and then eventually let the hands come up. And then relax the arms down. So we're sitting down a little bit, crossing, and then extending up. So we have a couple more people joining us. So I'm going to take a moment here to let them in out of the waiting room. And if you have joined us and you're not muted, please mute yourself. That'll keep our video feed nice and smooth. Then if you have a question or a comment, please unmute yourself for that question or comment, but then go back to muting. So this practice there are several important pieces to make this beneficial. One is notice your connection to the earth through the bottom of the feet. And because we'd like our awareness to grow as we relax our body, we're going to send our attention to 9 different points on the bottom of the feet. So of course those include the 5 toes. Also includes the heels, the entire heel pad. Also includes the ball of the foot, right at the base of the big toe. We want all of these places to be equally rooted to the earth just by relaxing our body weight through upper body, lower body, and into the feet. And the other 2 points are a place like the ball of the foot, but associated with the little toe. So the base of the little toe, I'd like to be feeling that staying connected to the earth. And then the entire outside edge of the foot, connecting the heel to the base of the little toe, all along the outside edge of the foot. We'd like that to stay in good contact with the earth the whole time we go through this. Lazy man takes off his coat. We like this fold to happen in the hip joints and the knees and the ankles. Not very much bending at the waist. So a nice long back. And you only go as far down as you're very comfortable doing, keeping it feeling very relaxed, very soft. And the other point that we're going to pay attention to is the crown of the head going the opposite direction that our body weight is going. Crown of the head going up as our body weight drops into the earth. So our classics say, the body belongs to the earth, the crown of the head belongs to the heavens. And so in that way, we're going to encourage a nice long trunk, elongated spine, elongated back, and feel relaxed, but also feel good alignment because this point is being attracted up, even though we're relaxing down into really solid connection to the earth. Okay, that bring up any questions? Even though we have the hands moving around in front of us, there's a lot of activity in our back. So you can feel when you cross your arms, especially if you can go to the elbows with this crossing, that it causes the upper back to open. And then when you sit down, you can feel that this area opens. So we're shooting for nice, open, relaxed back of the body.
Mike, unlike last week, you didn't coordinate that, or at least I didn't hear you mention it, with inhaling and exhaling. Does that not matter in this particular exercise?
Yeah, so there's no prescribed inhale-exhale coordination, but you'll probably notice that if you exhale as you fold going down, that you feel more comfortable. And then if you do that full exhaling as you fold and go down, then when you let go of that, you will naturally inhale. So as long as we're not fighting our breath with our movement, they will tend to come together. Well, that's a great segue, thanks Gary, for talking about the breathing. The breathing style that we're using is diaphragmatic breathing, is sort of a technical term, but we often call it belly breathing or abdominal breathing, and also sometimes called post-birth breathing. It has lots of different terms, but for reference, just watch any baby breathe or watch a dog or a cat breathe, and you'll see as they inhale, this area gets bigger, and as they exhale, it gets smaller. And so we're going to go back to baby breathing, post-birth breathing, and just remember how to do that. We're not learning something new here. This is how we do, like when we're asleep. We don't have any major health problems, when we sleep, we breathe this way. So when we fold in the lower abdomen, it tends to drive air out because that is pushing the diaphragm up. So as long as we're not fighting that, we'll probably exhale. So we can just stand, and I'd like you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart and parallel to each other, and feel those 9 areas on the bottom of the foot in good contact with the earth. Part of feeling that connection is relaxing all the joints in the lower body, from here, hip joints, knee joints, ankle joints, all of those things, relaxing so you can more clearly feel your connection to the earth. That also will allow you to open and relax the lower back. If we have our heads suspended, then sitting down in the legs a little bit allows us to feel this area open and relax a little bit. So that when we breathe, everything below the rib cage has a chance to expand and contract with our breathing. So even though it's convenient to park our palms here in the front, we should also be able to feel the same kind of expansion if we park our palms between the hips and the rib cage on the side, or around the back with the fingers on the spine. We'd like to encourage this entire waist area to let go, relax, so that it can follow the movements of our diaphragm coming down, going back up. So while we're standing here, I'd like you to put your palms on the abdomen with your thumb at navel height and cover one palm with the other in a way that you can easily wrap your thumb and index finger around the opposite wrist. That'll center your palms on each other, and then that center will be centered on your line going down the body. And thumbs at navel height will put your palms a couple of finger widths below your navel. And while standing, feel like legs are unlocked and absorbing weight of the body, passing down to the bottom of the feet, suspending the head, and feeling just a gentle expansion in the abdomen as you inhale, and just slowly letting it get smaller as you exhale. We're only going to have one homework assignment. You didn't know you're going to have a homework assignment, did you? Ah. So the homework assignment is going to just be do this. And you can do this sitting down, standing up, pretending you're sitting down, or laying on your back. Doesn't matter. If you're laying on your back, just put a pillow under your knees, prop the knees up a little bit so that your lower back can relax, open. And then your homework is, as soon as you wake up in the morning, after you've turned off the alarm, just lie back or stand up and take 7 or 10 breaths. Try and remember how you were breathing when you were asleep. That's part 1 of the homework assignment. Part 2 of the homework assignment is do the same thing just before you eat your lunch. And part 3 of the homework assignment is do the same thing after you get in bed, after all the lights are out, the phone is away, the book is away, everything's done. Just lay on your back. Park your palms here. 7 to 10 breaths, if you can make it that far without falling asleep. So if you haven't already remembered this style of breathing, that will really help you remember it, and then it will slowly sort of infiltrate your day until you're breathing that way more than some other way. And this will be the biggest health benefit of anything that we play with. All Qigong practices have relaxed natural breathing at their core. Qi, one of our biggest sources of qi after we're born, is the air that we breathe. If we can get better at our breathing, then we're going to get better nourishment all the time. So that will raise our health level the most for anything for the time investment that we put into it. Great. One little point, that is to make this a little more efficient, women would put their right palm on the abdomen, thumb at navel height, and they would cover with the left palm. And men would do the opposite, put the left palm on the abdomen, cover with the right palm. So that'll make it slightly more efficient for your health and for gathering and storing qi. But don't worry if you don't remember which way it goes. It won't hurt you. It's just a little more efficient that way. Great. Any questions coming up at all about the breathing practice? All right. So everything else that we do, keep breathing. So the next thing we're going to do is a kidney nourishing Qigong practice. I use this as a general warm-up, although it is part of the 8 silk brocades that we're going to investigate a little more as we go on here. So you can do this separately. You can do any of the silk brocades separately. We're going to go again out to shoulder width with our feet. And we're going to start with a nice big inhale. And remember, we're using lower abdomen filling up when we inhale. But we're going to let our shoulder blades slide up and open all the joints out to the fingertips. And then as we exhale, let the shoulder blades come down, elbows come down, palms come down, shoulders dropping, but head floating up. And then send your attention down through the legs and through the feet and through those 9 points of connection on the bottom of the feet. Each toe, the ball of the foot, the ball of the little toe, the entire heel, and the outside edge of the foot connecting the heel to the ball of the little toe. Then we're going to take another deep inhale, reaching out forward, and we're going to keep inhaling all the way till the palms are on the kidneys. Then we're going to exhale as we fold at the hip joints, keep the legs long, and head your attention to the little toes. And then when you're finished exhaling, come up, drawing your hands up the inside of the legs, up to the kidneys, finishing the inhale at the kidneys. So exhaling, going down the back and outside of the legs with the hands, heading for the little toes. Then releasing that full exhale, come up inside of the legs, up to the kidneys. Exhaling. Inhale. I think it was Carrie that asked last week, is it more important to reach the little toes, or is it more important to keep the legs extended? So it turns out we can do both. It's just that we don't reach the little toes necessarily with our fingers, but we can reach them with our attention. So we can feel what the little toes feel like, even if our fingers stop way short of there. And we'd like to keep the legs fully extended on the way down and on the way up. Only go as far as is really comfortable for you. Don't push it, don't crank it. We'd like to keep the back nice and long, the back of the legs nice and long. So as the head tilts over, also the tailbone tilts over to face the back of the room while the head faces the front of the room. And we're going to keep that same relationship, the head being attracted in one direction and the base of the trunk attracted in the other direction. So you can think about the tailbone or the pelvic floor. We often talk about a dragon's tail. which is just a way of giving a little more emphasis to our tailbone by imagining that it has a lot more substance to it. And we let it hang straight down to the earth. In this case, we're going to let it flip up to the back as we fold at the hip joints, and then drop to the earth again. Exhaling fully, including the abdomen, getting smaller. And then releasing that exhale to get a nice full inhale. Do this one more time. All the way up to the kidneys. Feel the kidney area. And then exhale, bring the palms back to that same place on the front of the abdomen. And then go back to regular natural breathing, very relaxed. Feel that expansion. But now look for a little expansion in the kidney area as you inhale, as well as out front. Great. Any questions at all coming up with that? All right. I'll wait a couple of beats to be sure you're able to find your unmute button in case you do have a question. All right. So a couple of little points about this. When we say let the top of the head be attracted up, there's a lot of real estate up here. So what exactly are we talking about? And we're talking about the point that's directly above your spine. So it's probably 2/3 of the way back on the top of your skull. We call it the crown of the head, but that's going to only be true if that point is higher than the rest of the head. So we're going to try and make it higher than the rest of the head by feeling it suspended from above. And that will elongate the neck if that's the point that is attracted up. It's the point directly above the center of the ears and in the middle, the midline of your top of your skull. So that's the place that we're thinking about being attracted up. This is definitely a foreign concept for most of us. So for a while, it's going to be visualizing, but in the long term, if you practice regularly, you'll gain a feeling for this point, feeling like it is attracted up, and then relax the rest of the body down away from that point. So with attention in this point, we're going to get two things. One, we'll get slightly longer body. So Master Yang says, sit down and then grow a little. So the sitting is relaxing all the soft tissue in the joints, letting the whole body drop, but then feel like the head is attracted up, so you feel like you're growing. And this magical combination of yin and yang forces is what has a lot to do with the health benefits of our Qigong practices. The other thing you gain from putting attention here in the crown of the head is more alertness and a little higher feeling of like higher spirits. So when we kind of collapse down, our spirit also can feel like collapse down. when we put attention here, it helps raise our spirits. Not religious spirits. Also, when we talk about heaven, we're not talking about religious heaven. We're just talking about up there somewhere. So it can be the sun or the moon or the North Star, whatever attracts this up. And that will also raise your spirits, raise your awareness. So your alertness will come up with that. So we're going to play a little bit with loosening the waist in a different direction. We just did a couple where we loosened the waist sort of lengthwise. We're going to do a little bit of rotation of the waist. So we're going to go out just a little bit wider than shoulder width and sit down a little bit in the legs. You can also do this sitting down on a chair. We can stand up and sit down at the same time by just relaxing into the legs. And then we're going to just rotate the waist. The reason that we have gone a little wider and lower with the legs is to stabilize the legs and the pelvis so we don't have any intentional movement of the weight shifting from foot to foot, or the knees twisting, or the pelvis rotating. So from the pelvis up is what's rotating the waist. From the top of the pelvis to the rib cage primarily is what we're calling the waist. So we're loosening that. And we're going to employ this idea of a dragon tail. So where your tailbone is, we'd like to feel more attention there, like it's more substantial, like a dragon tail. And we're going to drop that dragon tail a little bit at the end of each rotation. We drop it by softening the legs just a little. Unlock the legs, let them absorb the weight of the body. You can feel those 9 points in the bottom of both feet getting clearer as you do that. And it also helps start your rotation in the other direction. We keep the head suspended or attracted up while we do this. And so we're going to stay nice and vertical. Right. So that's good loosening for the waist as long as we keep those two complementary energies going at the same time. Head attracted up, dragon tail released to the earth. So I like the image of like a bottle of wine, a real bottle of wine that has a cork in it. And you want to take the cork out. So you just drop the bottle while you're rotating, but you're also complementing the dropping bottle with lifting on the cork. So as you do that, cork slowly comes out. So you could look at that like your body, maybe even your spine. So as you're dropping the bottle, the top of your head is the cork. And as you rotate, you're getting a little longer, maybe not perceptibly, but a little bit longer from that release, a little bit more open lower back, also a little leg development. Great. Any questions with our waist rotations? All right. So next we'll visit these 8 silk brocades, and we're going to do 5 of them. We've already done 1, so we're going to do another 4. plenty of time for this. So the ones we're going to do, we're going to go shoulder width, and they're all going to start with that big inhale, reaching up, and then exhale, settling everything down. So we go out to shoulder width, parallel feet. You can also do this sitting down. You don't have to be standing up to do these. Reaching way up, feeling the shoulder blades sliding up, and all of the joints opening to the fingertips, and then dropping the shoulder blades, letting the elbows come down, shoulders come down, hands come down, and let your attention continue down through the legs and into those and through those 9 points in the bottom of the feet. And we're going to take another inhale. Let the palms come up a little bit and intertwine the fingers. And then rotate the palms down. Exhale as you let the palms settle down. But make sure the head doesn't go down. Head's still tracted up. And then inhale again, let the palms go out. And then attracted up, just like the top of the head. And then exhale, drop the dragon tail by softening the legs. Then inhale and rotate the waist and look to the side. Just a nice even gaze. Then exhale, return to the front. Then inhale, rotate, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let the palms be attracted up. Try not to push them up with muscular effort. Let the shoulder blades slide up. The upper back. We're rotating the waist, but we don't rotate the knees. Make sure you don't rotate your knees. They're not built for that, and they will get injured if we rotate them. So rotate the waist. There'll be a limit to how far you can rotate without involving the knees. And you can tell you're going too far if you feel those 9 points in the bottom of the feet disconnecting. Any of those 9 points means you have gone too far with your rotation. So back off the effort a little bit. Then we're going to release. Let the shoulder blades slide down, arms coming down. And then inhaling, reaching way up, shoulder blades sliding back up again, and then dropping down again as you settle everything down except the crown of the head going up. And then step back in, feet together. All right. So the next one we're going to do, we're going to skip over number 2, go to number 3. Number 3, again, shoulder width with feet. Clearing breath. Be sure to visit the bottom of the feet. And we're going one palm go up and the other down. This is called separating heaven and earth, and glance to the side, a level gaze. And exhale, both palms come into the center, and then inhale, let the other palm go up, the other palm go down, and look in the other direction. Exhale, inhale. So just like the crown of the head, the upper palm is attracted up into the heavens, and just like the rest of the body, the lower palm attracted to the earth. So it's called separating heaven and earth. This is particularly known for nourishing the stomach and spleen. And again, we just keep the knees facing forward as we do this. And avoiding muscular effort if we can, just allow the palm to be attracted up, the other palm attracted down. See if you can let go in between the two. We'll go one more time. Separating heaven and earth. Inhaling. Exhale. Then we'll take another clearing breath. Be sure to visit the bottom of the feet, and then feet coming back together. Now the next one, number 4. So I'm just going to keep rolling. If you have any questions at all, just holler. Just jump right in and ask. And if I don't hear any questions, I'll just keep rolling. All right. So the next one, going out to shoulder width again, parallel feet. Another clearing breath, reaching way up. Feel your back lengthening as you do this, and then feel it relaxing down. Visit the bottom of the feet. Then we're going to inhale, fold the palms up, turn the palms over, exhale, let the palms sink down, float the head up. And we're going to finish with the palms facing down and the middle fingertips just about touching each other. So the elbows will be rounded out. And we're going to open the eyes wide, and it's called the wise owl looks around behind. So open the eyes wide, look out to the horizon, and scan the horizon as far as you can, comfortably, but if you can see behind you, stop rotating then. And then exhale and return. Just relax everything to return. When we inhale and look around in the other direction, scanning the horizon, both of our hands, the fingertips, will also rotate towards the back. And then they will return as we return our gaze forward. Exhale. Inhale. Let the wingtips face the back as you look around. Exhale, let them return. Inhale. Exhale. Do this at your own breathing speed. If you want to stay with me for the movement, then just breathe as many times as you need to while we're doing this. When you do it on your own, you would just make this rotation last as long as your inhale and your exhale. So it could be faster than this, could be slower than this. We're going to lead with the eyes, so the owl looking around, eyes wide open. Lead with the eyes. See if you can keep all the neck muscles very relaxed. Try to avoid using neck muscles, just let the eyes lead. When you start to feel tension in the neck, stop rotating and return. So there's no right way to do these other than staying soft and relaxed. In Qigong practices, we don't really care what it looks like on the outside. We're very involved in what it feels like on the inside. So same is true with the fingertips. We're going to go as far as we can comfortably. The idea that the fingertips are also going to look behind us, but we're going to stop the rotation whenever we feel tension and return. We'll take one more look around. And return. And then we'll take another clearing breath. Again, including the bottom of the feet. And then feet back together. The wise owl looks around behind. Then we're going to revisit the one we did earlier, the kidney nourishing. And we'll only do a couple of these because we've already done a bunch. It looks like somebody's in the waiting room. I wonder how long they've been waiting. Okay, so we're going to visit this kidney nourishing again. So going out to shoulder width. Parallel feet. Taking a clearing breath. Visiting the bottom of the feet with our awareness. And then take a nice big inhale, reaching forward. Again, feel the shoulder blades separating, sliding out, and then inhale all the way to the kidneys. Then folding at the hip joints, let the dragon tail point to the back of the room as you wipe the hands down the back and outside of the legs, exhaling, and then bring the hands to the inside of the feet and ankles. Release the exhale to inhale. Wiping up the inside of the legs, inhaling all the way to the kidneys. Exhaling. Keeping the back long and the backs of the legs long. Exhaling. And return, exhaling, return the palms to the front of the abdomen. Just monitoring your natural breathing there for a couple of breaths. And then feet back together. Great. So then the last of the 8 silk brocades we're going to visit, number 8. So we've only done 5. There are another 3 that we haven't played with that involve a little bit wider, lower stances. So we're kind of leaving those out. And the last one we're going to play with is just called Shaking Off 1,000 Illnesses. Now this is where we're going to play with our breathing. One thing I haven't really mentioned in this group is when we breathe, all of our breathing happens through the nose. So we just leave the teeth and the lips lightly closed, no tension in the jaw or mouth. And we let the tongue touch the roof of the mouth somewhere comfortable, wherever is comfortable, and we leave it attached there for our entire breathing practice until this one. So on number 8, we're going to do a fairly forceful exhale. We're going to do a long, extended, very refined inhale, like a golden thread of inhale. And then we're going to exhale all at once, like somebody punched you in the gut. So this is playing with our breathing. See if we can relax into it. While we do the inhaling, we're going to extend and go up on the balls and toes of the feet. So heels are going to come off the ground. And then when we exhale, we're going to drop the heels to the ground. And when we do that, we're going to exhale. So we leave the feet together for this. You can turn your toes out a little bit for help with balance. Just relax the arms and shoulders. Natural breathing into the abdomen as we inhale very slowly. Exhale all at once, drop the heels. Again, use whatever breathing rhythm works for you. As soon as you're done inhaling, exhale. So you can let some of that exhale come out the mouth, unlike all of the other ones. When we're done with that, we usually do 7 of those, and we just bounce toes and heels. And then we step out, shoulder width, and take our big clearing breath. And feet back together. So that is the best of simplified 8 silk brocades Qigong practice. 8 silk brocades means, it has in that meaning, silk, one of the most valuable commodities for a long, long time, centuries and centuries. So this indicates that this, we're talking about a treasure. And so the silk brocade, the treasure that we're talking about, of course, is our own personal health. So this is about cultivating, protecting your personal health through these practices. And also another meaning in the silk idea is that we would like to feel soft and silky when we do these practices, both during and after. We would like to feel like we are more fluid, more comfortable. A lot of that has to do with the breathing practice that's incorporated. So on that last one, as we inhale, if you've been playing around with letting this area expand, the kidney area expand with your inhaling, then this will help stabilize you so your center of gravity will stay nice and low and you won't feel challenged with your balance as you go up on the balls and toes of the feet. Any questions at all coming up? All right. So see, I don't think we lost anybody. I don't see any smoke rolling out anybody's ears. I don't see any blood. It's probably good. Everybody all right?
Yes.
So
Thank you, Mike.
let's all unmute ourselves and just check in and see. Blurt out a question if you have one.